Thunder here, coming to you with the 5.3 Smite patch notes. The hero of the Trojan War. Hooray! We have a new solo laner. Right. Well, let's dive bomb into this. Achilles is the new Greek god, demigod. I mean, if Hercules is in it, so can he. His passive, Gift of the Gods. He can choose between being hard-hitting and quick, or he can be an absolute asshole to kill. So this gives him between 35 and 235 health, and 5 to 25, 6 to 25 protections. And he can choose instead to get between a 3.25 to 8% movement speed, 12 to 50 power. So really, Achilles is, in his passive, just gives him additional versatility. They advertised him as being a warrior who is able to jungle adeptly, and they succeeded. This will help the movement speed, and attack power one helps with his clear late game, and we'll see why that's helpful late game. He can get really tanky really fast. A 235 health shield, basically like a health boost, with 50 protections would be an excellent item on its own, never mind a passive. And an item that gives you 50 power at level 20 with 8% movement speed is somewhere in between a tier 2 and a tier 3 katana. His wave clear is Shield of Achilles. Punches forward. This is a cone attack, a fairly large cone with 2 sections. The outer section just does 80% of this listed damage. And at basically point-blank range, it can stun. This is really easy to confirm stun. It's not quite as easy as RTO's. A little bit of a wind-up. It does a hell of a lot of damage, though. But he doesn't really have that much else as far as damaging abilities. But as far as I see it, he doesn't really need much. His second is a little bit in common with a Nike pass, with a Nike 2 Radiant Glory. When he activates it, he starts to be able to get healed by a... Yeah, it showed it was an active ability. So he'll get physical power, he'll get protections percentage-wise, which plays into his passive. CCR, which is actually new. I don't think there's any god who can... No, Bacchus and Ares can. Bacchus can? I know Ares can. Anyhow. Plus it gives him a built-in Glad Shield effect, and this does proc on minions. So he has a really, really easy way to deal with the wave clear and regen. So he has a lot of sustain in lane. He's got to be fairly mana hungry, but you can already tell with this he's got a lot of ability to just stay in lane. With Gladiator Shield, that makes it even easier. Combat dodge, this is a short dash. This is actually real. I actually like this quite a bit. Radiant Glory is on a short cooldown. This is on a short cooldown too. But he gets a short dash, and then he can throw his spear, and has like a range of 35 units. If he hits someone with it, he can dodge and throw his spear a second time. Capped at 2. It's a really interesting way to kind of give him an extended dash. Otherwise, it's fairly anemic. He has no other movement speed abilities. So he is a little bit more on the immobile side. He's not, so you will have to watch his positioning. His ultimate, though, is called Fatal Strike. And he's a tank with an execute ability. Below 30% and it's an instant kill. If he doesn't instant kill, he does 540 plus 100% scaling anyway. So I think that hits harder than Tyr's ult. I could be mistaken. The catch is that every time he executes, he gets another use of Fatal Strike immediately after. But it increases his scaling. So the first time he charges it, he takes 10% more. If he gets a kill, second time it's 20%. 30, 40, 50% of the last one. So really strong, but good luck getting all 5 off. The kind of the problems I see with this is that he has very easy and abundant sustain with this. And Fatal Strike is really powerful. It hits really hard anyway. And this damage 10% doesn't matter much. If he's in range to get if you've already got 4 kills, if you've already got a quadra kill as Achilles, you've already won the fight. I think he's going to be really, really, really good. Like, Kukulkan launch levels good. The two changes I would make to Achilles immediately coming out of the gate, I would actually have this be maybe a little stronger, maybe 25 to 40 plus 10% on gods, and then half of it on minions. So he has to focus, he can't just hit the minion wave to heal up off of the Radiant Glory. He's got to use it to box with gods. Fatal Strike, what I would have personally done is make it so after he is landed and he's done with Fatal Strike, after his ult is done, for 3 seconds after he's done, he still has the damage taken penalty. So if he uses it, he gets an execute off, he executes one opponent, he's still in the team fight, he's got 3 seconds on top of that time he was casting where he's taking 20% more damage. I think making that much more of a risk-reward option on Fatal Strike and making it so he can't just get easy quick sustain off of the Radiant Glory, I think would actually put him in a good position for launch. New skins. Okay. I kind of like the Wukong one, and the Shunga, and the Fafnir, and again with the Fetish Fuel, if you saw my 5.2 ranting, or the same, but at least she's over 18. Bug fixes. Okay. Selenia stuff. Thank you for this. This is great. This will make every game 35 seconds shorter. I didn't realize that those blessings were gone. I don't play other game modes. Oracles were a little strong, but not much. Whatever. Fine. Fine. All of that. Who cares? Soul Gem is back, and now it requires ability casting in order to get the passive proc off. It looks like it's about the same, maybe a little stronger. I don't know what the numerical stats are, if they're going to be the same. So it's going to be 65 power, 12%, like 200 mana, 12% lifesteal, 10% CDR. I don't know, actually. Doom Orb, nothing's changed. Soul Gem, we'll see where this comes back into the meta. I think it'll be about the same. It'll be pretty good, especially for like a utility style. So, Typhon's Fang is getting a nerf. The magical lifesteal is getting reduced from 15 to 10%, which I think is a good change. Instead of Typhon's Fang being all-in-one lifesteal, this now becomes a facilitator for existing lifesteal, which I think is really good. And one thing I don't like is the passive healing bonus dropping from 50 to 40. I think this is just becomes a little harder to calculate mentally. Well, how much lifesteal do I have? Multiplying by 1.5 is way easier than 1.4. I would have preferred to put this at the price of a premium item and give it a 200 gold increase on top of the lifesteal from 15 to 10. See where that is before you start making these changes that make it harder to know what you've got on your god. Especially because lifesteal is a stat that isn't really shown. Like, you don't see your lifesteal, you have to manually calculate that. So. Warlock's Staff is getting a nerf. I think this puts it... actually only 5 ahead of when they buffed it. I think they basically reverted all the changes to Warlock Staff. So, we'll see if people are still building Warlock Staff. I think certain gods, like a Hades and Zhang Kui will. I don't know if anyone else might. We'll have to see. Book of the Dead. Book of the Dead is still going to be good, especially if people are building Thoth into Dead. Or at least still building Thoth into Dead. If my memory serves, double stack at least. Warlock and Thoth was the combo. Book of the Dead is still going to be really good. Not as good, but still pretty good. Malice and Rage. Malice, one thing at a time. Getting a drop in physical power, I don't understand why. They're trying to make it more even. So it seems like it's going to be easy to get a lot of crits off, but these crits aren't going to be as powerful because all the items that give you crit are getting just shredded as far as their physical power goes. Now there's nothing that gives you more than the 40 off of Deathbringer and Malice, and those are both very expensive. So critical strikes, if you get 3 crits, your next bonus, your next ability you hit will do 120% physical power damage over 2 seconds and 3 ticks. So I mean, the gods who would get this are the ones who are using guaranteed crits anyway, like Neja, gods like that. Or I can see maybe a janky Neath type of build where maybe you don't get the crits that often, but because you're building a lot of physical power, you're using a lot of abilities, it's valuable anyway. Other than Neja, who can get 3 crits on demand. I'm not sure who else really wants Malice. I think they would have been better off keeping it as the 50-20 split and keeping the new passive. For Rage, I don't know why they had to drop physical power and increase cost. This is a nerf. It was already the premier get crit, but now this does literally almost nothing but get you that crit, because 20 power for a tier 3 item is a joke. For an all offense item. So, honestly, I think Rage is in a worse place than it was before, and no one was buying it before anyway. Soul Eater, Camazotz still, that's about it. I mean, you can still work with Soul Eater, I just don't think it's going to get into the meta just because of another 10 power. Even if it is a little faster to get it online. But who knows? I've been wrong on a lot of stuff before. Warrior's Blessing. Didn't realize I needed to give it another 5 protections, although you'll get this a little bit later now. I'm okay with, like, as a solo lane player, I like the change because it gets me more off of the Warrior's Blessing. I just don't know if it needed it. Kind of, They're not meant to be useful into the late game, I suppose, and that's kind of my take on how I interpreted Warrior's Blessing. Hunter's Blessing is getting a fix to work the way it should intuitively. Okay, on to god buffs. Arachne is getting a buff that doesn't really matter. 2-second cooldown on the web. She can now have a 3rd web at once. This isn't really gonna do that much to help her. She still doesn't put out that much damage. She can shoot webs a little bit faster now. And now she can have another one out so she can trap. I guess she can block off one side of the map. And then clear still. For what that's worth. I'm grasping at straws here. I don't think this matters. What I would do is I would have put webs when they explode do a small amount of damage and maybe take like 20 damage at all ranks off for ult to compensate. That way she's got some extra clear with the web. If they really wanted to help it, maybe like 50 to 90 plus 30% physical power scaling off of the web. Late game, a 90 damage attack plus 30 scaling, not much. You know, no one's like the slow effect is going to be in Broodling Body Block is going to be way more useful. But anyway, that's just one man's opinion. Cerberus is getting buffs all over the place. Soul Expulsion is getting a range increase on the leap. Ghastly Breath is going to do more damage. And Stygian Torment is going to let him do stuff pretty much immediately. He needs this. We'll see how Stygian Torment feels. Still kind of think it might be a little bit too janky for common use. A lot of the stuff's hard to confirm, and we'll see how the new ult feels. He can be fun, but he's kind of in this awkward spot where he wasn't doing enough damage. His CC wasn't reliable enough to support. He was getting outboxed by solos and couldn't clear well enough to keep up with junglers. So really, he didn't have a spot where you wouldn't be like, I can think of half a dozen guys I'd rather play. And I don't know if this fixes that, but we'll see with this ult how that feels. Freya is getting a fairly big nerf. Irradiate's doing less now, which sucks. Her passive Brisingamen's Blessing is going to scale up to its original lifesteal value. This and the Typhon's Fang is going to knock her off her pedestal and ranked as the, queen of ranked. I think she'll still be good. I don't think she's dead, but she's no longer first pick for Span. Personally, what I would have done is just make it so Typhon's Fang only cares about items and not passives. So that way she would not get the power spike and she would not get the lifesteal spike in combining her passive with Typhon's Fang. I feel like that would have been more elegant. Jeffery is getting some cooldown nerfs. If you weren't going to play Jeffery before, you're not going to play him now. But, little quality of life changes here and there. They had to do something when Jeffery ruled the meta. He's really, we'll see. I don't think this matters. Scylla is getting a little bit of extra power and a little bit of extra scaling. Her Sikkim Crush combo is already still ridiculous. I don't know if this matters. Like, do you kill him in a Sikkim Crush combo and a basic, or Sikkim Crush combo and look at him funny? I know. But with that being said, it doesn't hurt. If you're a Scylla player, just still land the fucking ult, please. Serket absolutely needed a nerf. And I think this is a good one. The Deathbane Poison, she still can clear quite quickly. You're still going to generally have the 13 seconds between camps, so you're not going to have to worry too much about that. It just won't be up quite as often. Cooldown might be more of a focus for on a Serket build. Still in a good place. I still can't play her worth a shit. Uller is getting a nerf on his ranged abilities. I'm still in the camp that thinks that they buffed him because of the tier 5. If they had a tier 5 of like Chiron, I can guarantee you they wouldn't have done anything to Uller. So Bladed Arrow, Hail of Arrows, fine. Reduce the scaling on that. He's got a lot of scaling there. I think the biggest change they should have done is nerf the damage on the axe. On the axe toss. I think that his initiation in 1v1 were really fighting. When he's got 4 abilities, the enemy's got 2. I think cutting that damage heavily would have been the way to go. Ramana is getting a little bit of love. He's getting 10 more protections from Colossal Fury. Still mana hungry, still a lot of anti-heal. I don't think this changes much. Anyway, let me know if you've got questions, thoughts, comments, the whole 9 yards. Make sure you follow me on here and subscribe to the channel, and also follow me on Twitch, twitch.tv/DanGodDefender. Feel free to post in the comments below. You know the drill. Every other YouTube Smite content creator says the same thing. Take care and good night.